The flight into darkness. The wind howled through the trees as Lavinia stumbled along the forest path, her breath coming in ragged gaps. The fever had drained the strength from her body, yet she could not stop. She had heard them whisper in the village, the doctor's solemn shake of the head, the priest's hushed words of comfort. There was nothing left to do. They had said no more prayers, no more remedies, only waiting. But Lavinia refused to accept it. Somewhere beyond these woods, beyond the veil of shadows and whispering leaves, there had to be something, someone, who could save her. The night was cold, and she pulled her thin cloak tighter around her shoulders. Her feet, bare and bloodied from the uneven ground, barely carried her forward, yet she pressed on. The forest was ancient, its gnarled trees standing like silent sentinels under the silver glow of the moon. Their twisted branches arched over her like skeletal fingers blocking out the stars. The deeper she went, the quieter it became. The wind had stopped, the rustling leaves stilled. Even the crickets had ceased their song. And then she heard it. A voice, low, smooth, and calm as the still waters of a midnight lake.
Why do you run, child?
The first meeting. Lavinia froze, her breath catching in her throat. A tall figure stood before her, draped in black, his face pale as the winter moon. His eyes held no malice, only patience. Understanding, a promise. Her heart pounded. She knew him. She had heard the old stories, the ones whispered by candlelight. Death, the gentle guide, the silent traveler who had walked beside the sick and weary, waiting for them to take his hand.
You have wandered far,
He said, stepping closer. His voice was not unkind.
You are weary. Let me ease your pain.
She staggered back, pressing herself against the rough bark of an ancient oak.
No,
She sighed.
I am young. I do not want to go.
Death sighed, tilting his head slightly, as if he had heard this many times before.
All mortals say the same.
He murmured.
And yet, when the moment comes, they take my hand willingly.
His fingers, pale and long, extended towards her, not grasping, not pulling, only offering. Lavinia turned her head away, closing her eyes.
There is still life in me,
She said.
still hope.
A dance between worlds. Dev studied her for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was softer.
Hope?
He echoed.
Hope is a flickering candle in the storm. It may burn bright, but the wind will come.
She opened her eyes and met his gaze. He was not cruel. There was no hunger in his expression, no desire to snatch her away, only inevitability.
Tell me,
She said, her voice barely more than a breath.
why must you come so soon?
Dev took a step back, his dark cloak blowing like mist.
Time is not mine to command.
He answered.
I do not choose when the candle flickers. I only stand ready when it does.
Lavinia's hands trembled as he clutched at her cloak.
There must be another way.
She pleaded.
A bargain. A test. Something.
For the first time, Dev hesitated. Then, ever so slightly, he inclined his head.
A test?
He mused.
Very well.
With a flick of his hand, the forest around them changed. The trees swayed, through there was no wind. The shadows deepened, stretching toward her feet. The air grew thick, heavy, with the scent of damp earth and fading flowers.
If you can take 3 steps past me,
Dev said.
I will leave you be.
Lavinia's breath caught in her throat. 3 steps, that was all. She forced her trembling legs forward. The first step sent pain surging through her body. The fever rode within her like fire, her vision swimming. The second step made the world tilt, her breath coming in ragged gaps. The ground beneath her seemed to vanish, replaced by an endless abyss. She reached for the third and collapsed. The silent promise. Cold hands caught her before she could hit the ground. Lavinia shuddered as Death cradled her gently, as one might hold a sleeping child.
Do not be afraid,
He whispered.
I have walked with kings and beggars, with warriors and children. I do not steal life. I only catch those who are falling.
Tears welled in her eyes. The fight in her was slipping away, swallowed by exhaustion.
Will it hurt?
She murmured.
Not anymore.
The fever had burned within her was gone. The weight of her body, the ache in her bones, the rasping breath in her lungs. Gone. She stood now outside of herself, looking down at the frail, fever-ridden girl slumped against the oak. The suffering had left her face. She looked peaceful. Death extended his hand one last time. With a final, quiet breath, Lavinia took it, and together they stepped into the night.
Oh, sein Drache. Ja, weil die kann ich nicht aussprechen. Notchis? Notchi? Keine Ahnung.
Blub.
Freunde, guckt mal in der Mitte, sonst dürft ihr gleich wieder Strafrunden reiten.
In the midnight hour, I can feel your power.
Fliegt so in den Globi rein.
Blub, he mused. Blub.